So, Voxlblade is my beloved, the game that I've been playing for the past year, and it's getting constantly updated, constantly improved upon, but after a year, it has some underlying big issues. This part of the script actually meant something before BAWXOL released the quest cantrip. Shit! This part of the script also meant something before the release of the quest cantrip. Bro, 2 sections of the video have been cut out because the quest cantrip actually solved progression and new player experience, like, quite a bit, like, wow. Jesus, BAWXOL, you're cooking so good, man. Oh yeah, and also, add a party system, please. I know it's not like a new player experience thing, but it'll be very nice. The game just doesn't tell you enough. Every armor, weapon, and evolved enchant has its own property and perk, which is really cool in concept. But when you take into account how many items in the game have their own perk, you would have to assume that the game has something to tell you of these details, these perks, these stats, but no. Want to make a good fire build? Go to the Trello. Want to know what an evolved enchant does before burning a brilliance gem? Go to the Trello. Want to know if your weapon that you are upgrading is good? Go to the Trello or ask somebody. I mean, there's literally a channel in the Vox Blade Discord called Q&A, because the problems have gotten so bad with the explanations in game that aren't provided that there's a whole channel in the Discord dedicated to people helping each other, because things can just be so convoluted sometimes. It's crazy. This is a massive issue. Every time I make a build, and I would look at the Trello for 30 minutes, talking with other people on what would work well with other items, just to make an acceptable build using the weapon that I want. You would not believe how many times my friend who tried making a hex build failed in making a good one, because he didn't ask for any help from the Trello or other people. If the game made use of the locations in the world to figure out things like the library, letting you know the effects of every enchant, the Knight Guild, letting you see what stats of every equipable item is, and even the Gladiator Guild, letting you know what the weapon tree looks like. Not only would these locations be informative and encourage you to go to these locations further, they would remove the need to look at third parties for information and be a huge opportunity on the world building. The world, believe it or not, is actually kind of empty. The desert serves almost no purpose except to house the Kakai King and be a bridge to the Deadlands, the more useful desert. The Cloudlands literally serves no purpose because of a stupidly rare and overpriced boss giving you 2 nickels and a breadcrumb for beating him by yourself. 4 brilliant gems gone to waste. I literally don't remember the last time I fought Lord Stratos and felt like I had gained something from that fight. The only Stratos armor piece I got was from the Snailsman, not even with the boss himself. Buff his loot table box, so what are you doing? Slight tangents aside, people rarely go to the desert, Magus, or Cloudlands unless we need to do one of 3 things: enchanting, fighting a shitty boss, fighting a better boss. These areas could be so much greater. The desert could be a hub for learning about the lore of the game with the ruins of the Kakai King and the Deadlands Bastion, but no, it serves as a boss arena and a bridge to the more useful desert that is the Deadlands. The updates on this game are nice, and as a YBA player it's a nice change of pace. However, one problem this game and YBA have in common is the lack of content updates. Most of Voxlblade updates are additive to the builds, but not the story. For reference, the game was released on the 10th of April last year. It's the 27th now, and the only extra place we got to explore in a sense was the Bastion. In 372 days, the game hasn't touched the PvE progression nearly as much as it should have. It hasn't even touched the story. While I understand BAWXOL, the owner of the game, wants to work on quality of life and balancing before starting work on it, I feel like it's an excuse to do something else. I don't think BAWXOL wants to work on the story, and that's because if he did, he would have done it within the last 372 days. Believe it or not, trying to balance things as you add them is very hard in a game with maybe a few hundred perks, or just 100, interacting with each other one way or another in unique ways. Unless BAWXOL does see this, I do not think the Northern Kingdom will be released soon, and this sucks. So, what do you think?
How the hell did you put this together?
Well, I don't write my own complaints. You should try speaking for what you believe in, community. Not for Square 11, or Miney, or anyone else.
Maybe I was wrong of you.
Am I finally getting through? I'll rid this game of pointless updates, Voxlblade community.
I was wrong. You're not looking for change. You are making this for content.
What? Basically, the game has really good base foundation, and nobody can deny that. However, the way that the content in the game is prioritized just doesn't sit right with me, or what many in the community may also think. While quality of life is good, you have to think about world building and the actual story. It's criminal that it has been a year, and we haven't heard much about the Northern Kingdom. And it's also criminal how, for a year, past level 20, you weren't given any headers on where to go. You were left on your own till, like, the quest cantrip. I personally do love the game still, and will continue playing it due to already being 7 slots deep. And I love you, BAWXOL. I love you, Miney. And most importantly, fuck you, Square 11. You're such a